As you know, I'm Stephanie Laska. I did lose 140 pounds and I created Dirty Lazy Keto. And today I want to talk about inexpensive kitchen hacks. So these are cheap, regular old things you can buy like at the dollar store or order on Amazon or pick up at Walmart. But these are cheap, inexpensive, little hacks that I found in my kitchen, my low carb kitchen, that help me to stay on track and help me make keto fun and easy. Because I like to save time and I'm super lazy. That's why it's called Dirty Lazy Keto, in case you weren't sure. All right, so I have around, I don't know, maybe 50 or so items about, little hacks, devices, gadgets. And I want to reassure you, all of these are under $15. And a lot of them are less. So I bet the first one you guys are guessing, if you had a guess, the first kitchen tool that I had, I bet a lot of people, and put it in the comments if you have a guess. You might be a fancy winner. But if you had a guess, the most important kitchen tool for Dirty Lazy Keto, what would it be? I'm sure it's different for everybody. But if you guessed a kitchen scale, for me, you would be guessing wrong. Don't laugh at my singing. Okay, I don't really use a kitchen scale. In fact, this I think is a postal scale. Isn't that funny? I'm not really sure. I got it from my office. I do not weigh and measure my food. I know. Scandalous. I'm such a rule breaker. I know the keto police are calling me right now. There's a crazy lady not measuring her food. She's not keto. We better call. No, I don't really weigh or measure my food. The reason I do have that around is to send out presents and gifts to people. I weigh my mail mostly on it. And once in a while for some of the cookbooks, I do have to provide a weight, especially with meat, for my editor. So I do use it for that. But other than that, I just kind of wing it. So don't count that in my kitchen hacks, okay? The count has not started. That's the one I did not choose. Let's get started though, for real. Some of these will make you laugh and they are kind of silly. So don't judge me. No judging. This is a judge-free zone. The first one, this is probably my favorite kitchen hack. This is an oil spray bottle. And I bought it on Amazon. I think it was $15 for 2 of them. And I put olive oil in one. And in the second one, I do vegetable oil just because that's what I had. But I think they might be intended for vinegar or salad dressings. I don't know. What I do with them is I spray my food before I put it in the air fryer. Huh. Now, I realize the air fryer does the frying for you, but I like a little extra oil. I think it makes it taste better. I think the fat adds a lot of flavor, and fat is part of Dirty Lazy Keto. So especially with vegetables, I will totally spray them down with some oil of du jour and then put them in the air fryer, and I feel like it really coats them nicely and makes a beautiful, crispy presentation. I even spray my salmon and my shrimp. So that's my first hack. I would definitely recommend one of those. Does anyone else have that? Am I the only one? Is there a twin out there? So we talked a little bit about Instant Pots and gadgets and air fryers. Well, I guess we haven't talked about Instant Pot, but I know a lot of you have an Instant Pot that is not under $15, but this little guy is. This is a basket that goes inside the Instant Pot. I know. I didn't even know this existed until I was shopping one day for a little reward. And it's silicone, easy to clean. It's a little dirty right now because I pulled it out the dishwasher. So embarrassing. But anyway, I like to put eggs in here. I put Brussels sprouts, green beans, all sorts of fun things. And I put them in the pressure cooker, the Instant Pot. And it's really easy to pull them in and out. It drains nicely. And it also has a trivet on the bottom. So in case your trivet that comes with the Instant Pot is dirty, you won't need it with this. Love it. Use it all the time. And it was like, I don't know, $12 maybe on the internet. Here's another one. This is number 3, if you're counting. I'm going to lose track after a while, so hopefully you can help me out. Most of what we do with Dirty Lazy Keto, I'm always talking in my cookbooks about putting stuff on parchment paper. And my daughter, bless her little heart, she is about saving the earth. She was like, Mom, you shouldn't be wasting all that parchment paper. You need to buy these things. And I'm like, what is that? So we were at Costco and I bought a whole pack of these in little rolls, and it's a silicone baking mat. I did not know about these. This is amazing. And it's non-stick. And I love how it has pre-measured shapes, like the 1/2 inch and the 1 inch or whatever it is. And they come in all different sizes. It's got a ruler along the side. Isn't that fun? And you can put them in the dishwasher. Who knew? Highly recommend. Number 4. Did I already lose count? I love these. I bought these at TJ Maxx the other day. They have it's like a storage lock. Did you hear the nice crisp? And I bought all that they had at TJ Maxx. So if you go and they're all out, it's my fault. I seriously bought them all. I had 2 shopping carts full, and I redid my whole baking cabinet with these, and I love them. They ranged in price, you know, from like $5 to $15, and they have all different shapes and sizes. I think they were meant for noodles or cereal, but I don't use it for that. I use it for all of my baking stuff, like almond flour, sugar-free chocolate chips, pecans, etc. So super, super handy. And they stay crisp and organized, and I can see what's in the container, and I know if I'm getting low. That is important. That part about getting low. And because I'm slightly anal once in a while, I use my label maker. It gives me so much happiness to make little labels to put on all of those containers. I'm like, coconut flour, almond flour, you know, pecans, walnuts. I love it. And then they're all lined up. It looks pretty. So that's my little hack. Do you see how I put for my children? I say, turn off the power, because they're always leaving it on and running my batteries out. It's so irritating. But I love to make labels. This one is from the dollar store. Now, I know that you all have measuring cups, teaspoons. Everybody does, right? But here's my hack. I want you to buy multiples of all of them. And the reason why, and I share this in my hacks about saving time in the No Time to Cook cookbook. The reason why I buy a gazillion of these at the dollar store is because they're always dirty, right? And they're all over the place. And I can never find the one I want. Am I the only one? Maybe I'm giving it away that I'm a little bit messy in some areas of my life. I have my label maker, but that's it. So I buy a zillion of these. I have them all over the house. I have them in the office, upstairs, downstairs, kitchen and drawers, hanging, dishwasher, you name it. It makes my life amazing having so many of them. And that's a hack from the cookbook. I share a lot of fun time-saving hacks in this cookbook because I think we get stressed out about keto cooking taking all day, but it doesn't have to. So a lot of these are from the cookbook or shared. Here's another one from the Dirty Lazy Keto No Time to Cook cookbook. I buy a lot of these at the dollar store. These are salt and pepper shakers. Or I pick them up at garage sales or use old ones and just wash them out. But I keep spices in here that I use frequently. Like, for example, this is cocoa. I had to think about it. I also have one with cinnamon. I also have one with cinnamon and sugar-free substitute. And so I keep a lot of these on hand, just, you know, near my coffee station, wherever I'm cooking. That way I have duplicates. I'm not hunting for the spice that I want. It makes life easier. Also near my coffee area, I shared this in the cookbook. I keep a little plastic tray. Usually it's heaping with packets, you know, assorted, whatever sugar-free sweetener you like or have available or repurposed from the Starbucks or wherever. But anyway, it's nice to have that in a little basket. And those are like $1 at the dollar store, right? This is a fun tool. How many people have this or know what it is? Do you know what it is? Put it in the comments. Do you know what it's for? I honestly did not know. My mom had to teach me. She was like, why are you trying to buy one of those stupid Zoodle Makers from Bed Bath & Beyond? Those are horrible. They're hard to clean. They don't work, in my experience. My mom was like, you need to just buy this. It's like $5, and it's OXO is the one I have. It has a nice non-slip hand grip, and you slice your zucchinis, or anything really, cucumbers too, and you can make zoodles. It takes seconds. You don't have to buy the frozen ones. Hello. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. This one might make you laugh. This is my Sunday spoon. Don't laugh, but I have a ton of dessert cravings all the time, apparently. So much so that I need my own set of parfait spoons because I want to get to the bottom. Right? I want to get to the bottom. I make my smoothies and power drinks and all that stuff. Jello fun. Taco Bell freeze is my favorite. I eat them all the time and I don't want to miss out on the bottom. So I bought these for a few bucks on Amazon and they make me so happy. That's the most important part. They make the keto diet easier because I'm happy. I have all these fun little tools to make life simple. You don't need such big equipment, really. And this, if you know what it is, anyone? Ooh, the ghost. Do you know what it's called? I did not know about this one either until I was on the Dirty Lazy Keto train. This is just simple, inexpensive cheesecloth. It's disposable. Well, for me it is because I'm lazy. But I cut off whatever I need. I buy it at the dollar store. I cut off a small piece. I put my cauliflower in there and I squeeze it to get all the moisture out. Because that's the trick with cauliflower when you're making like a pizza crust or something similar. You need to squeeze the moisture out in order to have a better bread product. So yes, you can use a dish towel or you can use an inexpensive cheesecloth from the dollar store. Everybody knows I love talking about ziplocks. I would pay so much money to keep the fancy ziplocks in my house. My husband hates them. He thinks they're wasteful, but I love them. I literally go to Costco and buy that giant mega pack with all the sizes, and I'm like, oh. It gets me really excited because then you can be organized, right? Plus you can make food ahead of time and then save it for later, which is super important. And while we're at it, I keep a lot of sharpies in my kitchen. I know that might be weird for you, but I find that they write nicely on the Ziploc bags. And then I can organize my food in the freezer and they don't like melt all over. I can see them. And again, I buy them in a pack of like 12 on Amazon because they disappear. My children take them. So I recommend buying them in bulk. This is so fun. I love this little thing. Do you know what it is? It is, for me, I don't know what it's technically called, but I call this my pretty avocado slicer or my pretty egg, hard-boiled egg slicer. When I put a piece of avocado in here and I go bloop, 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 you just fold it, or an egg on there, and then I put it on my salad. It makes it look all magical. And even my children will eat whatever I make if there's a magically cut, beautiful, restaurant-looking slice of egg and avocado. And that is from the dollar store, people. Amazing, right? So similar to the oil thing that I was talking about earlier, you can't always spray oil. So sometimes you have to put it on with the spatula. So I like these little paint brushes. They're silicone and they go in the dishwasher. I have a ton of them from the dollar store. Love the dollar store. If you don't have a dollar store, please don't yell at me. You can still afford one. I'm sure it's like $2 at Walmart or whatever discount store you have in your community. Okay? Please don't yell. But you can baste oil on things, which is important with Dirty Lazy Keto. Now, one of the things I talk about in the No Time to Cook cookbook is keeping a clean kitchen, which I understand you might not think that has anything to do with cooking, but at my house it does, because if my kitchen isn't clean, I can't cook healthy food. It makes me hate the kitchen. I don't want to go in there if it's a disaster, especially the microwave. Anyone else? Anyone? So I bought these inexpensive food covers from my microwave in different sizes. That was the key. It's like, yes, I have the little ones. I mean, yes, I have the big ones that most people have. But once I got the little ones that go over mugs and little plates and little bowls, it stopped all that like splatter, that nightmare explosion from happening in your microwave. Because nobody wants to clean that up, right? Am I getting some ideas flowing? Like, what ideas do you have? I bet I'm not. I haven't said one and you are thinking of it right now. So why don't you just type it in the comments so that everybody can see your idea? I have a few ideas, but I know you do too. Please share. It helps the community grow where we learn to trust and communicate. For me, a lot of times I use these as rewards for myself for doing well. So this is a healthy reward instead of like, oh, I lost 20 pounds. I'm going to have a hot fudge sundae. Don't want to do that. Instead, think about ways you can improve your kitchen and reward yourself for losing weight. And it helps reward you to keep going. So this was one of my sets that I bought in a big variety pack. They came in different colors and shapes. And I think you're supposed to use them like, I don't know, blue on fish, red on meat, green on vegetables. I don't do that. I just use them all the time. And then when they're dirty, I shove them in the dishwasher and go on to the next one. So much easier than dealing with that giant, heavy wooden block cutting board that everyone hates, right? Which is disgusting because it's never been properly cleaned. So I recommend you get a zillion of these. They're super cheap. TJ Maxx, Ross, Walmart, they all sell them. Here's another interesting device. What is this called? Do you know? This is something I didn't learn about till I was older. And then I was like, oh, that's what people do. It wasn't until I got on my Dirty Lazy Keto train that I learned about some of these time-saving hacks and tricks in the kitchen. This is an immersion blender, I think it's called. Maybe it's called something else. What I do is when I'm making soups or things that I want to kind of puree, while it's still hot in the pot cooking, you can take this and plug it in and go bloop, 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 and it just blends the heck out of it in 2 seconds. I used to transfer it into the blender or the food processor. All that's in the past. Now I don't burn myself, and it's super easy and fast. This is, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks at a department store or wherever you like to shop. Here's another fun hack. This is kind of silly, but I love these. Oh, look, I need to get my label maker out. I love these plastic bins. Again, dollar store. Hello. And I keep all my baking stuff organized in them. This one was my like nut and seed drawer, and then you can pull it out and see what's in the back of the cabinet, right? And then I keep all my stuff lined up. So easy, right? So easy and organized. Because before, all my stuff was like shoved in the back of the cabinet. I had no idea what was in there. And then I didn't want to cook or make a Dirty Lazy Keto recipe when I couldn't find my ingredients. So I cleaned out my whole kitchen, got everything organized, and now I'm prepped for success. I'm sure someone is suggesting water bottles, right? Now my kids have those fancy pants hydro flask style. I do not. I buy these Voss glass water bottles at the grocery store. And then when I'm done drinking out of it, I put it in the dishwasher. That's probably not dishwasher safe. I don't really care. That's what I do. I'm sure you can come up with your own water system. I make these at night before I go to bed. I used to do this when I had my babies. I would make their little baby bottles and line them up so they were ready for the next day. And now I do it for myself. And I love it. Then the water's cold, it's ready, and it's flavored and delicious. This is another fun reward I treated myself to because I was so tired of my eggs. I eat eggs all the time. I was so tired of my eggs coming from the carton, and then we'd have to unpack them because they wouldn't all fit. And then they'd be stacked and like falling. And then you'd open the door and they'd all topple and then they'd break. Am I the only one? So I finally got these on the internet. I love them. And you can put all your eggs in there. You have to decant them, but you can stack them. Oh. So you can put more eggs on top and be space saving in your refrigerator, and nothing breaks. And you can see them, which is so important. That way you know if you have stuff. Because when things are dark and closed, you can't tell what you have. And then you don't cook because you're like, I don't know what I have. Right? Okay, what number are we on? I'm curious. Let's see how many we're at. Who's keeping track? Well, actually, maybe you don't want to say. There might be a prize. These are really fun. I got these for frying things where you don't want to, mess up your dumpling or mess up your crab rangoon or whatnot. But then you can dip it in the oil. But I also found them to be super helpful when I'm boiling vegetables. Like, for example, I boil radishes. And then you can pull them out of the water without having to like pour it into a steamer, pour it into the sink, risk your life. Plus, then you can keep using the boiled water. And they came in a set. I got 3 of them for under 15 bucks. From like a chef academy, nonetheless. Made me feel special. Kitchen scissors. I use these all the time. I know it's like obvious, but sometimes we just have to be reminded of things, right? You're like, oh yeah, I have those in my kitchen. Why don't I use them? They're probably in your knife block, and I use these constantly to cut chicken. It's so much easier than chopping. Then it slides all over. Just whenever you're having to cut things particularly, try using your shears and get a bunch of them. Go to the dollar store, pick up a few extra pairs, and write on them. Because this one I only use on meat. But if you're buying just plain scissors from the dollar store, write on the meat, right? And then you can stick them in the dishwasher so people don't like cut their homework and get cooties. Do you have a bunch of pizza cutters? They're very helpful when you are cutting raw tortillas or making homemade pizza. I think there's just a fun of great things you can do. Like, do you ever make homemade tortilla chips in your air fryer? If you haven't already, oh, it's delicious. Spray oil on your tortillas, low carb tortillas. Cut them into desired tortilla shapes. Put salt, lime, chili powder, whatever your favorite spices are, and then air fry them. Do you use an ice cream scoop? Not for ice cream. I use an ice cream scoop quite often when I'm doing my keto baking, especially when I'm making muffins or cupcakes. And then you can make all the batter even amounts in the cupcake tin. You know, I used to try to pour it, and then it was like spilling and splattering, and then it would burn. So much easier. And it's worth it. Like, I used to think, oh, I don't want to get out one more thing. But it really makes a difference. And I'll start going faster because I have a few more. This is my favorite avocado spoon. I don't know if that's what it's called technically, but that's what I call it because it has sharp teeth around the edges. And so I'll use it to scrape out my avocado. I also use this on my artichoke because when you get to the inside of an artichoke, you want to eat the heart and you have to scrape out all the gills, and this works perfectly. So again, I covet those. I know it's stupid. It's a spoon, but it makes me happy. It makes me so excited when I can get my artichoke in the afternoon and then scrape out and then eat it, and it's just delicious. I know I've talked about these before, but they're worth mentioning again. I transitioned all my dishes this year to these glass bowls from Anchor something. I got them at Big Lots, but they're available at department stores and Target and places like that. And they come with a sealable top, which I love. And you can put these in the oven, in the microwave, in the dishwasher. I know, right? That's amazing. And they're glass. So they don't give you all that BPH cooties. And they come in all different sizes. And I love how this is pre-portioned. Like, I know this is a cup. So when I'm eating yogurt or any other type of food where I have to kind of watch my limit, I know how much is already in here. So when I use it frequently, helps keep me happy because I know how much to put. What about also for the Instant Pot? I make muffins in the Instant Pot. And the recipe is in the one of my favorites anyway. One of my favorite recipes is in the Dirty Lazy Keto Dirt Cheap Cookbook. There's a recipe called brown bag blueberry muffins. Oh, they're to die for. And I use these in the Instant Pot, and they turn out like these little muffin bullets. And cheap. Who knew? I didn't have all those at first. Another little gadget for my air fryer. I do a lot with shish kebabs. My family tends to eat more meat if it's on a stick, I've noticed, and I do too. It's just tastier. And I'll put vegetables. I'll do like shish kebab. I'll do shrimp skewers. And I buy these inexpensive wooden skewers. And then I have this cool gadget. And then you can just shove them all in there and cook a bunch at once. That's a technical cooking term. Shoving them all in there at once. Seriously. Don't laugh at me, but I have to recommend a grocery list. Like, do you have a grocery list on your front of your fridge? Do you? We all pretend to have it and then we don't write things down. But it makes such a difference. And then I talked about the Sharpie already. And I talked about the little sprinkle of cocoa powder. But I also keep my extra containers of like everything but the bagel seasoning blend. I used to buy these all the time at Walmart or Trader Joe's. And then I was like, gosh, these are expensive. Like $5 a thing. So one day I figured out how to make it myself. And I included that recipe. It is in, I think it's in the Dirt Cheap Cookbook. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's in the Dirt Cheap Cookbook. The recipe on how to make that recipe. The recipe on how to make the recipe. And then I keep it in a giant container. And then I just refill these using like one of those little cone things. You know, that go like that. You pour it in. What's that term? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And then I just refill them, and then I feel fancy all the time. And then lastly, I'll give a shout out to my co-host of the Dirty Lazy Girl podcast, Tamra. She taught me about this cool coffee thing where you can just put your coffee in there, freshly ground, has to be. And then you pour your hot water over the top, boiling hot water, she says, in your cup below. Because I think that a lot of us, especially when we're new at Dirty Lazy Keto, coffee is like the number one thing. And we panic about getting rid of our creamer and our sugar and all this, things that we used to do. So what Tamara taught me is by making a really good quality cup of coffee in the first place, doing this method with the grounds. And these are just a couple bucks at, Walmart. Then your coffee tastes better and you may not be missing all of those additives. So I hope that helps. Did it help? How many did I share? Was there any new tip, or did I forget one? I want you to type it in the comments right now because I didn't think of everything. Maybe it was broken. Maybe it was lost. One thing I did order, though, which I was so sad that I didn't have for the podcast today or the video, is for my coffee. It's a, here, I'll get my cup. It's you pour your coffee in here, and then you put your cream in first, and then you put the little and you go like that. It's a battery operated thing you do. What's that called? A frother? It's called a frother. And they're like, it was $15. My son used it to make scrambled eggs. No. That is not what it's for. Tamara taught me you put your cream in first, you use your frother, you froth it up nice and thick, and then you get your coffee and add it to it. But anyway, that was my other gadget that I wanted to share that I didn't have on hand. Go figure, my son making scrambled eggs. No. So I hope that helped. Hoped it helped. We're in this together. It may not be easy all the time, but it sure can be fun. It's an adventure. So let's help support one another, okay? I just wanted to say thank you for listening. I appreciate your support. This is a community, Dirty Lazy Keto. We have to help each other. We're in this together, my friends. It's not easy, is it? We gotta support one another. So if you found today's video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and then subscribe to the Dirty Lazy Keto YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications so you'll never miss an update. You can also find me on Instagram at Dirty Lazy Keto. And for more information about any of my support groups or any of my books, you can always go to dirtylazyketo.com for more information. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help. I know you can do it.